The next topic which we are going to understand after process planning is the product life cycle, which you are seeing here. If you correlate the life of a human being with the life of a product, you will be easily able to understand and correlate the different things or different phases which are coming under product life cycle. One thing you should understand here, that as humans have limited life, product also has limited life, and if the product after in its whole life is not able to meet the expectations of the customers or are not able to fulfill the requirements of the customer, company has to substitute that product with the another product which will try to eliminate the drawbacks which were there in the original products. So you can say the life of a human is similar with the life of the product. Actually, if you see in today's particularly environment, the competition is increasing day by day. So as a result of which the life or the survival of the product has become very difficult in the sense there is a huge competition in the market. So every product should have some unique feature to complete its life cycle so that it will be able to compete in the market. If you see this diagram which is there given in the study material, four different stages are given for the life of the product. The four different stages are introduction, growth, maturity and decline. If you see this diagram carefully, in the decline part, which is the last part, the sales and the profit is decreasing drastically. It is increasing slowly surely till the maturity part. But as the maturity part crosses, if you see here, as the maturity part crosses, this sales part and the profit part goes on decreasing continuously. So we have to see that for maintaining the position of any product, this part from introduction to maturity should be as long as possible, because as the maturity part ends and the decline part starts, the sale of the product goes on decreasing continuously. Now what we will do is we will try to understand the product life cycle by taking reference of this particular diagram given in the study material. If this question comes in the examination regarding the in short notes for product life cycle, this diagram has to be drawn for better understanding of the concept, so that you will get better marks in the question which is asked in the examination. Now if you look at the various stages here, there are basically four stages: introduction, growth, maturity and decline. In introduction stage, the first stage, the product requires greater investment. As I want to tell you here, the product which is going to be launched by the company in the market is at its introductory stage. Company doesn't know how much amount of profit will be earned by the product. So as a result of which, in this particular stage, the product requires a greater investment. Greater investment means huge amount of capital expenditure will be required for the product, for survival of the product. The expenditure will be used mainly for doing marketing of the product, trying to improve its after sales, trying to improve its aesthetics. If there are some problems with the previous versions, then investment will be there in removing those drawbacks in the current product. You can take an example of mobile phones. So what I want to say here is, amount of investment or amount of capital required will be at the highest peak in this introductory stage. If you see here in the study material, I have highlighted this particular point of greater investment. What I want to say here is that in this particular part of introduction, only this point is very important, that it requires a greater investment. Now if you see, before and before entering or launching the product in the market, testing is carried out on the product. If the testing is satisfied, then the product is launched in the market at national level through proper advertising and selling techniques. Techniques means through proper selling or advertising channels. Different channels or holdings will be there regarding the launching of the product, so that people should know that the product is going to be launched in the market. So all this part comes under the introduction stage. Now if we move forward in the growth stage, if you are seeing here in the growth stage, the growth stage is in the diagram. This part is the growth stage. Now if you see in the growth stage, I have highlighted some more points. In what happens in growth stage, as the name is self-explanatory, the sales and the profit starts increasing. As a result of which, what happens is that the new products which is launched in the market has more profit, has more number of profit to its name. Sales are increasing. As a result, competition among the companies who are offering the same product starts increasing. Suppose there is one mobile phone, which as an example, suppose there is a mobile phone which comes in the market which has a particular unique feature which no other company is giving in the market right now. So after some point of time, what happens is that similar or different mobile phones having similar features, comes in the market, which are trying to compete with the earlier product which was launched by a company. So what happens is that these products becomes competitors, or you can substitutes of each other. This is the particular thing which happens in the growth stage. Now here in this particular stage, the company is trying to change its tagline from buy my product to try my product, because company is in doubt regarding how much amount of sale or profit will be generated, or what will be the revenue regarding the sale of the product. When the competition is less, company is sure that we will cross this much amount of sales. But as the competition increases, the company is little bit in confusion that how much or what will be the amount of sale, if you see. So what happens here is that in this particular stage, the sales and profit is increasing. Company is committed to give the best quality regarding the as far as the quality is concerned. All these things is a part of, you can say, growth stage. Now if you see in the diagram, after the introduction stage and the growth stage, the last stage in which the sales volume and profit is increasing will appear, which is the maturity stage. In the maturity stage, what happens is that basically in this particular stage, the supply of the product in terms of quantities exceeds the demand. So as I have told you that supply is exceeding the demand is getting reduced and supply is increasing. So what here happens is that the companies are trying new or you can say innovative techniques, so that they will be able to retain their position in the market. New techniques regarding what? They are trying to implement new techniques so that the sale doesn't reduce drastically. If it is also reducing, it should not reduce drastically, as a result of which they will be able to maintain their particular market share in the industry in which they are operating. So you have to understand that in maturity stage, the sales and profit are on the verge of declination. They will increase up to a certain extent, but after that they will be on the verge of declination, or they will start decreasing. So companies try to implement new strategies or new techniques in such a way that they will be able to sell the product in the market, and they will be able to maintain or retain their position. So this is one, you can say this is one of the most challenging phases in life of any product as far as the product life cycle goes. Best example here is the sale of mobile phones. You can take a best example of sale of mobile phones. If you see if a particular model is launched by a company, its sale will be at the highest peak till the point when the competitors are less. But as the competitors or the buyers starts increasing, the sales starts affecting, and the company has to use many innovative marketing techniques to be in the to retain its position in the market. The best example is that Vivo mobile phone, the marketing strategy adopted by Vivo mobile phones for launch of V11 is the best example for the maturity stage. After this maturity stage, the last stage which comes is the decline stage. What happens in decline stage, as the diagram is explaining you, the sales and the profit goes on decreasing. Sales and profit goes on decreasing, and what happens as a result of which the company has a responsibility of offering a more better product in terms of quality and price if compared with the original product which is there in the market. So there is a huge pressure, you can say, on the companies to fulfill the expectations of the customers and to fulfill the demand of the product so that they can get satisfactory revenue and generate a good amount of profit for them as well as the shareholders which have invested their amount in the company. So this stage, you can say, is a bit tough stage, both for the as far as the product is concerned and as far as the company is concerned, who is launching that product into the market, who has launched that product into the market, or on whose name the product is sold in the market. So this stage is a bit of difficult stage, and the company who is able to survive in this particular stage will be at the top in their particular industry in which they are operating, or you can say the maximum market share of that company will be the highest if it is compared with the competitors or peers who are operating in that particular industry. Okay, so this is all about the product life cycle which we have discussed. If you see here, we have started with the introduction part, then there was the growth part, maturity and decline. If the question comes in the examination in short notes regarding the product life cycle, you have to draw this diagram and you have to explain each and every point, that is introduction, growth, maturity, decline, by highlighting the main points which I have highlighted here. So this was all about the product life cycle. Now after this we will try to understand the process selection. The last part of this topic is the process selection. Please understand one thing very clearly here, that the in charge, or you can say the production manager who is handling the production activities in any particular organization has to select the type of processes to be done depending upon the output or the product which is made. What I want to say is that if the product is, how much quantity of product is made, whether the product is of repetitive nature or whether the product is of unique nature. What I mean to say is, based on the characteristics of the product which the product is offering, I will repeat once again, based on the characteristics of the product which is offered by the product, the processes are selected. Say for example, if the product is of unique nature and as the order changes, the specifications, aesthetics of the product changes, then the production manager has to select a process of job shop in which different processes are required for making the different types of products. If the product is of repetitive nature and is large in quantities, this job shop process is not suitable. So the point here I want to mention, or I want to highlight, is that the characteristics or the uses of the product are the basis of selection of any processes. For what reason that product is used, in how much quantity that product is produced, all these are the parameters, or you can say the specifications on which the processes are selected. If you see, this process selection is divided into 5 parts. First one is the job shop, second one is the batch processes, third one is the repetitive process assembly line, fourth is the continuous, and fifth is the project. I will repeat once again. The first one is the job shop, second is the batch, third is the repetitive or assembly line, fourth is the continuous, and fifth is the project. We will see everything one by one. As I have told you when I was explaining you the meaning of process selection, the first one is the job shop process. What happens here is that in job shop process, the product which are made are unique in nature. They are not duplicates of each other or are less in quantities. So the processes or the processes selected by production manager should be such that they will vary as the job's parameters or the job's requirement varies. What I want to say is that for different jobs, different processes are required, and based on the characteristics of the job, the processes are selected. Because jobs are not repetitive in nature, so they have unique characteristic and unique use. So as per the use and the characteristics of the product of the job, the processes are selected. This is the simple meaning of job shop processes. Okay, so after this, the second one is the batch processes. As the name indicates, here the products which are produced are more than one. You can say as an example of 5 to 10 products are there. Products are more than one. So you can take as an example, you can take that there are more than 5 to 10 products in a particular batch. So number of quantities is more if we compare it with the job shop process. So what happens here is that as the volumes are increasing or are repeatedly made, the machineries or the processes should be selected as per the characteristics of the particular process. For example, if you take an example of ice cream or soft drinks, you can take an example of ice cream or soft drinks. Soft drinks are made in different bottles. So if we compare, for understanding purpose, if we assume that the cold drink present in 5 bottles is of one batch, so for producing that much amount of cold drink which will be filled in those 5 bottles, same processes or the processes has to be selected in considering this particular point for fact. So what I want to say here is that in batch processing, the volumes increases, products quantities increases, but one thing should be kept in mind, that cost should not increase after a particular level. This was regarding the batch processes. You can take an example of books. Similar books, or suppose as an example we take a subject called as history, or you can take example of our study material of operations management. This is a book which is produced in batches, 15 books, 30 books, 45 books, as per the requirement from the students or from the institute or chapters to which the institute is providing. So what I want to say is that in batches, more than one type of similar products are produced depending upon the requirement, but care should be taken that cost is not exceeding after a certain limit. Third one is the repetitive process. This we have discussed in the previous part. You can take an example of assembly line here. The best example is of laptop. Say for example, if there are 5 parts which are required, if there are 5 parts which are required to make a laptop, so these 5 parts will be assembled by the person on the assembly line repeatedly without thinking too much. What he will do is, the 5 parts will come to him, he will assemble the parts and he will forward it to the next thing. This process is continuously repeated again and again till the time is over or the demand is fulfilled. You can say this is similar to batch process which I have explained earlier before this, but the basic difference here is that batch processes, the quantity in the batch process is less, but quantity in repetitive process is more as compared to the batch processes. This is the first and the fundamental differences. I will repeat once again, the quantities in the batch processes are less if we compare it with the quantities in the repetitive processes. Okay, you can take an example of television sets or laptops. Similar type of laptops are made on a huge scale, which is not in batches, as per the requirement of the customer. So you can say in simple terms, it is a mass production. Repetitive process is nothing but a mass production. It is produced on a larger scale. Say for example, 1000 laptops per day or 500 laptops per day, depending upon the requirement of the company and the market. So this is nothing but the meaning of repetitive processes. One thing you should understand here, that we are producing the goods on a massive scale, more than the batch processes. So here the goods are produced for storing purpose. If there is less demand or the sale has extended after a certain limit, means manufacture to stock, and not, here the tagline is used is manufacture to stock and not manufacture to sale. First there will be manufacture to sale, but as the sale has completed or the demand has decreased, and if the company is further producing it for future use, then if the company is producing it for future use, then manufacture to stock, this tagline will be used by the company. But one question arises here, that how much quantity that of product will be produced under tagline manufacture to stock, because if certain level is crossed, there will be huge amount of losses. So company has a certain number in their mind that this much amount of quantity will be sold in the future. So company predicts that by using techniques of demand forecasting, and based on that they made only fixed number of products, so that they will not involve much cost or much investment in maintaining the inventory. They will have inventory, but in limited amount or in controllable manner, you can say, in repetitive processes. After this, the fourth part is continuous process. If you see here, the fourth part is the continuous process. As the name itself is self-explanatory, continuous. It means that if there are four processes which are required, as an example if you take, which are required to convert the raw material into finished goods. What are the finished goods which are made under continuous process? You can take an example of cement, papers, fertilizers, etc. So if one of these products has to be made and it requires four processes, so the four processes will be continuously one after the other. If one ends, second will start, second ends, third will start, third ends, fourth will start. So as a result of which, if these processes are continuous, so for maintaining the equilibrium in these four continuous processes, huge amount of capital investment is required. One thing you have to consider here is, or understand here is, continuous process requires a huge capital. It is a capital intensive process, so it is required a huge amount of capital, and chances of losses are maximum under this product, because company has to maintain the equilibrium under these processes. So many times what happens in practical scenario, company invests more amount which as compared to what it has actually expected. So if the sale doesn't occur as per the expectation, the company has to bear loss, as it has involved additional cost in maintaining the different processes, which you have to understand here. The examples which are coming under these processes are the products. The example of the products which are coming under this process are sugar, steel, papers, fertilizers, etc. All these products are unique in nature. Their utilization and characteristics are unique. So for making this type of products, the processes should be continuously without any interruption or delay. This is the simple meaning of continuous process. After this, the last is project process. Project, as the name is self-explanatory to you. In projects, what happens is that we undertake a certain work to be done or executed in specified amount of time. As an example, you can take that a company has taken a contract of building a shopping mall or a hospital in 3 to 4 years. A dam or a hospital. What I mean to say is any infrastructure developed will come under the projects processes. The last part. As the time frame for making this particular infrastructure, which includes hospitals, dams, malls, etc., is more than 3 to 4 years, project manager is appointed by a company who is undertaking that contract. The responsibility or the work of the project manager is to track the continuous process of work which is going on in the project. His main responsibility includes the basic thing that whether the work is going as per the demand or not. If there are any interruptions in the work, how to eliminate these type of interruptions, and what things should be taken care so that these interruptions doesn't occur in future. So all these things comes under the project processes. There are n number of examples which will come under the project processes, which are building, shopping center, dams, hospitals, etc. The next thing which should be considered here is that the equipments which are used in making those projects, or the labors which are used for making this particular things which I have mentioned, should be flexible in nature. Because why flexible in nature? Because many times it happens that the demand regarding that particular project, demand increases or decreases when the project is in its building stages, or certain bans are imposed by the government when the project is in its building stages. There is always a type of risk or uncertainty with the human life or with different factors which I have mentioned in this particular processes. So what I can say is that out of the 5 processes, this process is a bit risky. Why it is risky? It is risky because huge amount of capital is required, n number of problems can arise which are similar to the contingent liability in the accounts, which occurs, but we don't have that much amount of forecast that this will occur. Third problem is that continuous assessment of the work with the time frame fixed has to be done. Proper allocation of the roles and responsibilities to the subordinators should be done by the project managers. So what I can say is, out of the 5 processes, this 5th, that is the project process, is the most complicated and challenging process as far as the organization goes. Organization has to take special care, or minute attention should be given when a project is executed by any company. The companies working under this project process are, the best example is the Larsen & Toubro company, L&T company, which is the most reputed and respectable engineering company present in India. It comes many times in CMA campus for conducting interviews of the students. Many students got selected there as fresh CMAs who joined the company as management trainee. So this L&T company works under this project processes. So this is all regarding the theory of process selection. The theory part ends here. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. I got previous feedbacks from many students that the quality of sound is very low, or it is not audible. So what I have tried to improve the quality of sound and in these videos or I will try to enhance it in the coming videos. If you like my video, please do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. I will thank all of you for your patient listening. Thank you for your time.